Okay, so there's a huge geopolitical storm brewing up in the Arctic, and it's threatening to crack the world's most powerful military alliance, NATO, right down the middle. At the very center of it all, a standoff over Greenland. And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. Let's dive into how this whole crisis is playing out. Now listen to that. Catastrophe, conflict, the end of the world as we know it. That's not some random pundit trying to get clicks. That is a direct, stark warning from Donald Tusk, the Prime Minister of Poland, a really key NATO ally. His words just paint this incredibly grim picture of what's on the line. It really sets the tone for just how serious this is. So, what is it? What could possibly be this flashpoint that's pushing allies to the brink and making leaders use words like catastrophe? Well, the answer isn't some new superweapon or a rogue state. It's a massive, mineral-rich island in the North Atlantic. It's Greenland. Yeah, at the very heart of this entire confrontation is a direct and very persistent demand for Greenland, which, is an autonomous territory of Denmark. Just to give you a sense of scale, Greenland is the world's largest island. Its location in the Arctic makes it this absolutely critical piece on the geopolitical chessboard. And it's not just about location. It's also believed to have these huge reserves of rare earth minerals. The stuff that's essential for all our modern tech. That combination makes it a pretty irresistible prize. And here's the thinking behind it. This quote really gets to the core of the U.S. rationale. See, this isn't just about resources. It's seen as a preemptive move. The idea is to block rivals like Russia and China from getting a strategic foothold right on North America's doorstep. It's classic great power competition, just playing out in the freezing Arctic. And wow, right here, this is where all the diplomatic niceties just get thrown out the window. This statement pretty much turns a proposal into an ultimatum. It dramatically ramps up the pressure on Denmark, and really it forces the entire NATO alliance into this incredibly awkward and dangerous position. So you might be wondering, how did America's allies, especially Denmark and Greenland, react to this kind of pressure? Well, as you can probably guess, the reaction was fast, it was clear, and it revealed a really deep fracture inside the alliance. This slide just boils it all down perfectly. On one side, the United States is talking about acquisition, about ownership, a complete transfer of sovereignty. But Greenland, they're talking about partnership, about cooperation. I mean, they're not even in the same ballpark, let alone on the same page. Greenland's foreign minister, Vivian Mossfeld, leaves absolutely no room for doubt here. She makes it crystal clear. Hey, partnership? We're open to it. Being owned? Not a chance. This isn't just a negotiation over the price tag. It's a fundamental rejection of the entire idea. Okay, so this table gives you a great snapshot of just how fractured the response inside NATO is. You've got major European powers France, Sweden, Germany, sending a clear message of solidarity with Denmark by actually deploying military personnel. But then you have a key player like Poland taking this very deliberate, cautious approach, which just goes to show you the deep divisions this whole thing has created. And Poland's position here is really interesting and worth a closer look. As such a crucial Eastern European ally, their strategy is very, very deliberate. So, Poland's strategy, it's like watching someone walk a diplomatic tightrope. On one hand, they're loudly calling for European unity and for everyone to calm down. But on the other hand, they are very purposefully holding back their military. It really makes you ask, why this specific approach? Well, Prime Minister Tusk's reasoning is all about realpolitik. He's basically saying that sending a few troops as a symbolic gesture isn't going to change anything in the U.S. In his view, it's pointless. So instead, Poland's choosing to hold on to its diplomatic cards because they believe that's where their real influence is. So, all of this has brought the alliance to this really precarious and unresolved place. Despite all the diplomatic efforts, the core issues are still at a complete and total impasse. You'd think they could sort this out, right? Well, recent high-level talks in Washington, which were supposed to de-escalate everything, they ended in a total stalemate. That fundamental disagreement, ownership versus cooperation, it's still the central unresolved problem, and neither side is showing any sign of budging. So, just to recap the key friction points here, you've got a direct demand for an ally's territory, a firm no, a fractured response from other NATO members, and a diplomatic process that's just stuck in the mud. I mean, this creates a perfect storm of tension, and it challenges the very foundation of an alliance that was built on mutual defense and, respect for sovereignty. And this all brings us to the final, really critical question. The whole point of the NATO alliance was to protect territory from outside threats. But what happens when the pressure on that territory comes from inside the alliance? What really holds it all together when its most powerful member wants a piece of another?